So one thing I did, one episode I have been wanting to do, friggin', let's do it now because it shouldn't be that long. I wanted to talk about motorcycling rites of passage. I saw a couple of memes recently that, you know, said whatever thing and then you're not a real biker unless blah blah blah. So let's do the top 5 motorcycle rites of passage that you gotta go through to be a real biker. Number 1, you gotta have run out of gas. If you haven't run out of gas on your bike and have to push it somewhere or, you know, pull it or whatever, you're not a real biker. And I say that with a grain of salt, by the way, jokingly, but whatever. It is kind of a rite of passage to run out of gas on your motorcycle. Myself, the morning after. So the morning after I bought my bike, I bought it, rode it to my girlfriend, spent the night. Then I was riding back home, and you know, I assumed the dealer gave it to me with a full tank of gas. This was not the case. So I'm on the highway and the thing just starts sputtering and I'm out of gas. I was rather new, so it didn't click immediately. So, you know, it took me a while to figure out that it was out of gas. It was a used bike that I got for, you remember, the Shadow. I gotta say, the bike was in fantastic condition. I just fucking didn't pay attention to the gas. I was brand new at this. And yep, I ran out of gas. I had to push it up the highway, including an overpass, for like a mile before I could, you know, just sit on it and ride it down the ramp into a gas station. It was rather interesting. But, you know, you live and you learn. Rite of passage number 2 would be dropping your bike, or falling off your bike or whatever. You know, that's a rather obvious one. You have to drop your bike. It sucks, but you know, it's a rite of passage. You have to go through that. Everybody has to go through that, and you have to go through learning how to pick it up. So my first drop was this is a great story. I think I've told it before. My first drop was when me and my ex took the MSF course. We didn't own bikes, and our plan was not to buy bikes yet. So we started renting bikes. You know, let's say rent one for the weekend and learn a little bit, then whatever, and then rent again, and then rent again. I think we rented like 3 or 4 times. The first time we rented, I got, of course, all the insurance on the bike and everything. It was a Harley Davidson Sportster 1200 Custom. That's what it was. Yep, that's what it was. And I shit you not, they bring them out, they put both bikes, me and my ex's, right there. They look all beautiful and shiny right in the parking lot. And, you know, whatever, we get ready, put my helmet on, put my jacket on, feeling all badass. I shit you not, the second I start rolling off the clutch to start to get going, I just let go of the clutch too much, and I did throttle, rolled throttles at the same time. And the bike just freaking got away from me. I went like 10 feet and dropped. Nothing happened to me. The bike had crash bars. Nothing happened to it. But it was my first drop, and it was really embarrassing because it was this group of it was this riding group that had come from Arizona or Michigan or some shit like that. That was all, they're renting bikes. You know, they're all renting their big ass road glides. They got their cuts. And, you know, it was rather embarrassing. But they all came over and helped, and they were really nice about it. They said, you know, happens to everybody, and it does. And everybody should have to go through that. Sport bikers and cruiser riders and touring riders alike. Everybody should go through that. Rite of passage number 3. And this one is probably for the boys. I don't know if girls go through this. I don't think they do. Maybe, whatever, I'll ask someone. Rite of passage number 3 is, obviously, it's stalling out in front of a hot girl. Happens to, I think everybody's gone through that. I've never met a biker who hasn't. Even Manny. You know, you pull up to a corner, probably in Wynwood, maybe in downtown, or any light, and there's a hot girl in the car next to you. You go and, you know, you rev your engine a bit, she smiles at you, you just smile back, blah, blah, blah. Maybe in a case or two, you actually manage to exchange numbers. I did that once, what Navy. And then, you know, you get to go, boop, you stall out. So you're trying to show off just a little bit. And then you stall out, and she laughs at you, and then she still answers your text number. It happens. It happens to everybody. But you learn from it. You learn not to get too sidetracked on the girl, and pay attention to your bike. Pay attention to the bike. Rite of passage number 4 is gonna be riding with a passenger. And not everybody has this, probably because not everybody has a pillion seat on their bike. But riding with a passenger is a completely new experience, because mainly your bike becomes a lot heavier. Your lean angles and your turning radius change completely. especially on a sports bike. If you put a passenger on your sports bike, they sit up heavier, you'll become extremely top heavy. So taking those lean angles, the guys that like to like drag me and shit, that shouldn't be happening with a passenger. But you know, actually my first wreck, I had a passenger, and it wasn't nowhere near her fault, whatever, it was mine, but you know, it makes you appreciate a whole lot more that there actually is somebody's life in your hands. The most important thing to learn about riding with a passenger is that it adds another variable. It adds something else that's outside of your control. Obviously, you can tell them how to act, what to do, etc., but you know, if suddenly you're taking a little highway turn like this, but they start flailing their legs about because they need to stretch, that can really throw you off. Number 5. It's not a big deal. It has happened to everybody, but you learn to not adjust, but you know, you learn to make it part of your routine, and that's taking off with the kickstand down. Or, you know, if you have a Honda or a Japanese bike, a metric bike, popping into first gear, having your bike shut off. Happened to me a lot with Spidey, because I've gotten used to the Harley, which doesn't do that. It happens to me a lot on the CBR. You know, when if you have the kickstand down, you pop down into first gear, it shuts off. If you're in gear and you pull the kickstand down, it shuts off. The Harley, it can be dangerous, especially if you're turning, but at least the way my kickstand is designed, if I take off with it, it's just gonna flop back right into itself, mainly because of the wind, but if I turn just a bit, it'll just snap right back where it needs to be. But you always realize it, and it's always a little bit scary if you're on the Harley. Okay, rite of passage number 6. Your first bike upgrade. Everybody says, most people say, there are dudes who start off on a Busa. Most people buy a small bike to get started with. They'll get a little 300, or they'll get the Honda Shadow, or a Honda Rebel, or a Yamaha Bolt, or you know, something light, small, Harley Sportster, Harley Street. But within 6 months, you know, everybody gets the bug, and everybody wants an upgrade. And that's a big rite of passage. When I did it, it was exciting, a bit scary, because you know, at that time I hadn't ridden a 107 cubic inch engine. It was a much bigger engine. It was a new, different ride from the only bike you've ever known. And you know, it's exciting, but it's scary at the same time. A buddy of mine who works at Harley, told me, I was thinking of getting a Harley for my first bike, and he said, don't do it. Don't get a brand new Harley for your first bike, because you'll be thinking more about not dropping the bike and not focusing on how to ride. So I took that advice, and it paid off, because I was not worried about dropping Spidey. But you know, that fear came over me. Once I got this bike, I got really self-conscious about dropping the bike. And you know, it's something I think everybody goes through. But yeah, that first bike upgrade's a rite of passage for sure. I know you get to a certain level of bike, and that's gonna go right along with number 7. But you get to a certain level of bike, like right now, I can ride any Harley, you know, no problem, because I've gotten used to this, which is pretty damn big. All right, finally, number 7, as we're almost, is that a Harley? That's a Sportster. Yeah, baby. Not bad. So, where were we? Number 7, yes. And last of the big rites of passage I've gone through. And if I've missed any, if you have any rites of passage, you know, put it down on the comment section, or you know, tag it on the post for the Instagram post, or whatever, you know. Just let me know what your rites of passage were, or if I missed any big ones. But my last one is the first time you get on a freaking leader bike. The first time you get on a freaking leader bike, that thing, it makes you gain respect for the tiny 1,000 cubic centimeter engine real freaking quick, because those things just fly, unlike those scooters there. You know, I've said this a million times, but the difference is between a Harley and a sports bike. This obviously, it's way bigger than a leader bike. This is an 1,800 cubic centimeter engine. A 103 inches convert to around 1800. And, you know, it's way bigger, but it's a way heavier bike. So the weight to power ratio is completely different. On a liter bike, you're riding a much lighter bike with 1,000 cc's. And while you don't feel the torque like you do on this baby, you definitely feel that speed and that horsepower. You know, that thing will just, and if you don't respect that bike, if you think you can just hop on there and give it throttle, you know, I'm talking about your liter bikes or your R1s, your CBR 1000s, your Ninja 1000s, I don't even know, Kawasaki and Suzuki, Gixxer 1000, whatever. The liter refers to a liter of displacement, 1,000 cc's or bigger. You know, the Hayabusa, the H2. Yep, so riding that bike will, you know, it'll put hair on your chin for sure. Now, a lot of people who can't handle them because they don't know how, get on those things and think they own the fucking world. Girls do that shit so much around here. Just come and take photos and photos and photos. She's doing it too, taking more photos. They're doing it too, more photos. It's funny. Alright, so yep, that is my top 7 motorcycle rites of passage. And as we get to our new building, look at that beautiful building. As we get to our new home, hang on, let's ride by the wall first because it's really cool. Again, thank you all for the 1,000 subs. That's really awesome. It's gonna be a good selfie. Very nice. See? Look what I'm talking about. People just taking pictures and pictures and pictures on these walls. I love it. Alright, so that's gonna do it. Thank you all very much for tuning in. Thank you for getting us to 1,000 subs. 1,000 sub ride is coming very soon, and it's gonna be very fun. And our first giveaway is coming up too. Alright, that's it. That's it.